I've always been fascinated by how our eyes work, and today we're going to explore the incredible world of human vision. Our eyes are like tiny cameras, constantly capturing and processing the world around us. And get this, they're way more complex than any camera we've ever built. Are you ready to uncover the secrets of the human eye? It's going to blow your mind. Alright, let's start by breaking down the structure of the eye. Now this is really cool. The eye is made up of several key parts, each with its own crucial role. We've got the cornea, which is like the eye's windshield, protecting it and helping to focus light. Then there's the iris and pupil. You know, the colored part and the black center. These work together like the aperture on a camera, controlling how much light enters the eye. But wait, there's more. Behind these, we've got the lens, which changes shape to focus light onto the retina at the back of the eye. The retina is where all the magic happens. It's packed with light-sensitive cells called photoreceptors. Oh, and don't forget about the optic nerve. It's like a high-speed data cable sending all that visual information to your brain. Isn't that amazing? So what happens when light enters your eye? Let's follow its journey. First, light hits the cornea, which bends the light rays. Then it passes through the pupil, which can expand or contract to control how much light gets in. This is why your pupils get bigger in the dark. Pretty neat, huh? Next, the light reaches the lens. Check this out. The lens can actually change shape. When you look at something close up, the lens becomes more curved. When you look far away, it flattens out. This process is called accommodation, and it helps focus the light precisely onto the retina. It's like your eye has its own autofocus system. I remember being mind-blown when I first learned about this in school. It's like each of us has a tiny living camera in our heads. Now let's zoom in on the retina. It's packed with two types of photoreceptors, rods and cones. Rods are super sensitive to light and motion, but they don't see color. They're like the night vision goggles of your eye. Cones, on the other hand, are all about color and detail, but they need more light to work. Here's something wild. You've got about 120 million rods and 6 million cones in each eye. Most of the cones are concentrated in a tiny area called the fovea. This is why when you want to see something clearly, you look directly at it. You're lining it up with your fovea for the best detail. It's like having a high-resolution center in a sea of motion detectors. Nature's engineering at its finest. Okay, so your photoreceptors have detected light. Now what? Well, they convert that light into electrical signals. These signals travel through the optic nerve, which is like a bundle of about 1 million tiny wires. But here's where it gets really interesting. At the optic chiasm, some of these signals cross over to the opposite side of the brain. This crossover is crucial for depth perception. It means that both sides of your brain get information from both eyes. The signals then pass through a part of the brain called the thalamus before reaching the visual cortex at the back of your brain. And get this, all of this happens in just a fraction of a second. Speaking of depth perception, let's explore how we see in 3D. You might think it's just because we have two eyes, but it's actually more complex than that. Your brain uses several cues to figure out depth and distance. Some of these are binocular cues, which do rely on having two eyes. The slight difference in the image each eye sees helps your brain calculate distance. But here's the cool part. You can still perceive depth with just one eye. These are called monocular cues. Things like size, shadows, and how objects move relative to each other all give clues about depth. Next time you're looking at a landscape, try closing one eye and see how your depth perception changes. Now, as amazing as our eyes are, sometimes things can go wrong. You've probably heard of nearsightedness and farsightedness. These happen when the shape of your eye prevents light from focusing correctly on your retina. But there are other conditions too, like astigmatism, where the cornea is irregularly shaped, or glaucoma, which damages the optic nerve. One condition that fascinates me is color blindness. It's usually caused by missing or faulty cones, and it can make it hard to distinguish between certain colors. Did you know that about 1 in 12 men are colorblind, but only 1 in 200 women? That's because the genes for color vision are on the X chromosome, and men only have 1 X chromosome while women have 2. Alright, let's have some fun with optical illusions. These mind-bending images show us how our brain can sometimes misinterpret what our eyes are seeing. Take the famous rotating snake illusion. The snakes aren't actually moving, but your brain thinks they are. It's all because of how your visual system processes contrast and position. I remember the first time I saw this illusion. I couldn't believe my eyes. Our vision isn't just about our eyes. It's also about our brain and our experiences. Your brain is constantly making predictions and filling in gaps based on what it expects to see. That's why you can read text even when some letters are missing or jumbled. It's like your brain is playing a constant game of fill in the blanks with the world around you. The trichromatic theory says we have 3 types of cones for red, green, and blue. The opponent process theory explains why we never see reddish green, because red and green are processed as opposites. Both theories help explain different aspects of color vision. Isn't it amazing how our brains can create this rich, colorful world from just 3 types of receptors? And there you have it, the incredible world of the human eye. From the intricate anatomy to the complex psychology, our vision is truly a marvel. Next time you look around, take a moment to appreciate the amazing process that's happening right inside your eyes. Thanks for joining me on this journey of discovery. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about the wonders of science, don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, keep your eyes open and stay curious.